Yo, what up guys, Old School Dan here. In this video, I want to show you 3 exercises to build a classic back. But I'm not with weights, but with bands. So given our situation, not everybody has been blessed, like I've been blessed with gym equipment. I have a barbell, exercise bike, dip bar, pull bar, cable system, all that good stuff. But not everybody's been blessed like me. So I'm going to show you 3 exercises you can do to build yourself a classic back with only bands. So with that being said, let's go ahead and dive right in. Alright, so I got my bands here, right? And I'm going to take an underhand grip, keep my body erect, chest up, shoulders down, back arched, lean in, get that stretch for the lats, up, squeeze, drive the elbows back, squeeze, squeeze, lean in, get that stretch in the lats, shoulders down, back arched, squeeze, pull with the elbows, get a nice contraction in the lower lats and the upper back. Now there's not a lot of resistance with these bands, so you do need to increase the rep range. Now normally if I was using the weights, I'd probably do 10 to 12 reps and be 12 to 15, 12 to 16 reps max. But since there's not a lot of resistance, you're going to need to up the volume and possibly up the reps as well. So I would recommend anywhere between 20 to 30 reps would probably be a good amount of resistance, good contractions, good control. Anyways, this is a good exercise for working the upper back because I noticed guys like Dave Draper, Steve Reeves, they all had really thick upper backs. Arnold Schwarzenegger, every time they did a back pose, it was always just so thick, and I always wondered how they got that. And through years of experience and even researching Dave Draper, he talked about it. That nice thick upper back comes through doing underhand chin-ups, underhand rowing, even great for the lower lats, which is a prominent feature in a classic back. Alright, so anyways, with that being said, I'll show you the second exercise in my book. Alright, so the second exercise I'm going to show you is an underhand kneeling pull down. Now the range of motion on this is kind of short. I mean, it's too long, so I have to get more of a grip on top of the bands, so you can get a nice range of motion that can imitate or mimic an traditional underhand cable pull down. All right, so again, I'm gonna use an underhand grip to emphasize that upper back and those lower lats, because those are such prominent features in a classic back. So again, 3 sets, 20, 30 reps. The last exercise I don't think I gave you the sets, but I did give you the reps. 3 sets, 20, 30 reps. I would recommend anywhere between 9 to 12 reps, 9 to 12 sets per workout, because the resistance isn't as thorough. Sometimes you can get away with less sets when you do with weights, because time under tension, how well you can stimulate the muscle. But this one's just kind of tough because not a lot of resistance, so you might have to up the sets and up the volume of the reps. All right. So underhand pull down, kneeling underhand pull down, 3 sets, 20, 30 reps. Alright, and this last one is going to be a band pullover. I keep wanting to call it a cable pullover, but these are bands, so it's going to be a cable pullover. It's the one where it's a little bit more for the width and not so much for the thickness, because a lot of the other ones, I would say they're more for like thickness, because when I think of, silver era backs or golden era backs like Arnold, Steve Reeves, Reg Park, Dave Draper, I always see that they would do a training pose like this, the upper backs would look so thick, and I was like, damn. That's something I want, and that's something that really stands out, is a thick back. Alright, so now we're just going to add a little bit of width, because they did have those really wide backs. They had that nice big taper look, the big calves, the symmetry. We're talking about symmetry here, proportions as well. We're talking about big calves, nice chiseled thighs, not super turn up thighs, what Fitzgerald would call them. Small waist, nice V taper, wide shoulders, wide lats, wide thick forearms. Alright, so this one is I want to keep saying cable pullover, band pullover. Let me show you how it's done. 3 sets, 20 to 30 reps. Here, stand back a little bit for a nice range of motion. Press my body forward. Squeeze with the elbows. Squeeze. Don't pull with your arms. Don't muscle it with your arms. Pull with the elbows. Drive the elbows back as far as possible. You'll get a nice contraction in your lats that way. Squeeze. 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 Hold that contraction. Hold it. I've learned that with back, a lot of it is the squeezing, and this is coming from experience, because I like to think that I have a nice, well-developed back, and a lot of people do agree with that as well. So I've always found that a lot of people think it's the negative. The negative is so important when it comes to bodybuilding. I think with some exercises, the negative is very important, But there are parts where, like, you know, when you do chest, it's all about the squeezing part. You know, when you do the cable flies or, like, you know, the pressing, the squeezing part is very important. But also when it comes to the back, for years I did lots of, you know, these really good negatives of like hold the negative, control, control, control. I feel a nice stretch in my lats and I would get a good pump, but I never saw any prominent or, you know, successful results with that technique, with that method. So I switched it to doing squeezes, focusing very hard on the squeeze. And obviously I'm not doing really sloppy negatives where I'm just like, you know, letting the weight fall down. I do control it to an extent, but it's not like that super negative Frank Zane method everyone, you know, talks about that is very important. For me, for you, you may be seeing results from that, but if you're not, I would highly recommend that you focus on just the squeezing part. I do think this is a game changer for a lot of people if you don't know this, but the squeezing part is part where it makes all the difference, because the thing is, with back, it's hard to feel the muscle being worked because you can't see it, and it's something, when you can't see what you can't train really what you can't see, people find it difficult. Because when you do biceps or chest, you can see it being squeezed, you can see your bicep flexing, but how do you see your back unless you have a mirror behind you and you can physically see your back being worked? But that's not the case in most, you know, in most situations. So you have to learn to squeeze the back, feel the back. It's all about the mind-muscle connection, all right? So hopefully these 3 exercises were helpful to you. I don't know why I just have a hard time breathing here. The ventilation sucks. But hopefully these 3 exercises were helpful to you when it comes to building a classic back. So hopefully this was helpful. Subscribe to more videos like this. Drop a comment below what you'd like to see next, which muscle you'd like to see next. With that being said, thanks so much for watching. Old School Dan, I'm gone. Peace.